You cannot rebuild a club without knowledge.
Manchester United are facing their worst ever start to a season, and the club continues to hit new lows every passing week. With Erik Ten Hag steering the ship, we've seen a lot of comments and opinions about the manager, from the good to the bad and the ugly. Here's what football legends and players think of Erik Ten Hag. United legend Cristiano Ronaldo has recently been highly critical of Ten Hag. Speaking on the Rio Ferdinand Presents platform, Cristiano explained that a major overhaul is needed at the club. On top of that, he also stressed that he was unimpressed because winning the Premier League wasn't part of United's objectives this season. Here's what he said.
I did amazing, but as I told you, Manchester, they need to rebuild everything, in my opinion. The coach, they say they cannot compete to win the league and Champions League. You cannot say, if you are a Manchester United coach, you cannot say that you're not going to fight to win the league or Champions League.
Cristiano also added that he hoped that Ten Hag would listen to other important figures in the dugout.
So I believe that Ruud going to help because he was inside the club, he knows the fans. If the coach listens to him, I think they can improve a little bit the club.
But CR7 isn't the only player to be vocal about United's situation. When United faced Aston Villa, fans believe that Erik Ten Hag and Ruud van Nistelrooy were involved in a heated argument because it seemed as though there was some disagreement in the dugout. Following another poor performance, the cameras captured the Dutch pair in dialogue on the bench, and their body language wasn't the best. Though it was difficult to lip read what was being said, it is possible that they weren't in any disagreement either. Van Nistelrooy has been heavily linked to take over on an interim basis since becoming Ten Hag's assistant in the summer. So this next legend believes Ten Hag needs the results right now.
I understand what Erik Ten Hag said in terms of new players coming into this Manchester United team this season, but he's not bedding in the team, he's in his third season, so for him he needs results right now, and he desperately needs a result today.
In addition to stressing the need for immediate results, Liverpool legend Jamie Carragher also compared the dynamics of this season with that of last season, stating that there are a lot of similarities in terms of performances and results. Carragher also thinks that things will be tough for Ten Hag, especially considering he was hung out to dry a little bit when the owner started speaking to other managers during the summer. According to Jamie, no employee will be comfortable seeing their boss publicly trying to find a replacement for them. Some possible replacements for Ten Hag during the summer were Tuchel, Southgate, Roberto De Zerbi, Pochettino, and Brentford's Thomas Frank. With some of those managers now engaged, United might not have as many replacement options at the moment, but that could very well change before the end of the year. After United won just 2 of their opening 7 matches, former England midfielder Paul Gascoigne then delivered a brutal assessment of the entire team. Speaking to Sportscasting UK, Gascoigne explained that he believes the players take the piss out of their manager. Gascoigne said he felt a bit sorry for Ten Hag, but that he would love Sir Alex Ferguson to take over for just 1 season and see what he could do with these current players. Gascoigne then added that Ten Hag deserved a bit of respect for dealing with such a massive club. Similarly, United veteran Johnny Evans has revealed that the talk surrounding Erik Ten Hag does indeed have an impact on the players. Speaking to BBC Match of the Day, 36-year-old Evans explained that the rumors make their way through the squad and that the players think of these things when playing. In his words, Ten Hag might have bought himself some time with a goalless draw against Aston Villa.
There's no excuses anymore. This is his team. He's made excuses for injuries, which sometimes you can understand, other times you can't, because you spent a lot of money on a squad. And he's running out of excuses. I think even started the season, he said, I've got young players.
But United legend Paul Scholes could care less. Scholes thinks that the Red Devils look like an uncoached team. He questioned their embarrassing defeat to Tottenham and called for a drastic improvement in the squad. Scholes' biggest source of frustration seems to be the fact that Manchester United does not have an identity. Speaking to Supersport, Scholes said, "You don't know how they're gonna play. You don't know how they're gonna approach games, whether they're gonna play on the counterattack or sit deep, or whether they're gonna try to have all the possession in the game. We have no idea." Scholes has also questioned the enthusiasm of the players and doesn't see the new signings making any difference. Despite spending around £180 million on new players during the summer transfer window, there has been barely any difference. We need to stop hearing excuses and get on that training pitch and find a way of playing. Find something. Give us something, says Scholes. However, despite all the criticism Erik Ten Hag has faced, a rival manager thinks he has done a pretty good job since his arrival. Here's what Tottenham manager Ange Postecoglou thinks of Ten Hag.
But I think Eric's in a real tough job. He's done really well. You know, he keeps mentioning he's won 2 trophies, and he has, mate. You know, so I don't think that's insignificant. Everyone keeps telling me that's all I have to do, but obviously it's not all you have to do. Because when you do that, then there's more.
Someone else, however, has a more nuanced approach. United's highest goal scorer and current Plymouth boss, Rooney, thinks Ten Hag is a fantastic manager, but has questioned some of his decisions. Speaking on an episode of Stick to Football, Rooney couldn't hide his disgust at seeing United lose 3-0 at home to Tottenham. And since then, he has pointed out that something needs to change. Something needs to change. I'm not saying that's purely the manager, but the performances and lack of desire when you watch United play is crazy. Then, zooming in on the manager, Rooney questioned his decision-making. Here's what he said. Some of the changes Erik Ten Hag is making, you never see top teams changing the center backs during a game, or the back four. That happens on a regular basis. But what do you guys think of Ten Hag's decision-making mid-game? In the meantime, Roy Keane has lost all hope of seeing Ten Hag's United achieve anything. Keane said he gave up after watching United's 1-1 draw against Twente in the Europa League. Keane thinks that at this point, it's a case of hit and miss with the club. They win a few games, but they'll lose plenty. They're too open. They're not athletic. They don't score enough goals. I'm not sure there's a team there. I don't recognize this team. I don't recognize the club. Those are some difficult words to swallow, but when you remember that Keane spent 12 years at United, won the Premier League 7 times, won 4 FA Cup titles, and the Champions League in 1999, you can understand where he's coming from. But let's get yet another perspective from someone who has actually been with Ten Hag in the dugout. Benny McCarthy was a first-team coach at United under Ten Hag from 2022 until this summer. Giving some insights into Ten Hag's work ethic, the South African revealed that Ten Hag worked long into the early hours trying to find the answers to the Red Devils' problems. McCarthy also talks about Erik Ten Hag's tactical prowess, saying that the Dutchman is one of the smartest coaches he has met. Tactically, Erik is one of the smartest coaches I've ever met. He's intelligent, a very intelligent man, meticulous, concerned with details. He made everything available to the players. He carefully explained every possible and imaginable situation about the game. Then, at the end of the day, it was up to the players to step onto the pitch and give a good response. But here's the kicker. McCarthy thinks the problem with Ten Hag is his lack of passion. In modern football, I believe that players want to see a bit more passion in their coach. They need to feel that the coach is with them and willing to fight alongside them. Tactically, I felt that Erik is at the top. He lacks a bit of that fire, that passion. That's where we differ, him and I, said McCarthy. Truth be told, Ten Hag has never really been an overly charismatic manager on the touchline. He's not the most animated, but should that really be a problem? What do the players think? Here's a tweet showing how Matthijs de Ligt describes working with Ten Hag, but some of his fellow Dutchmen have different opinions. Ten Hag's compatriot Rafael van der Vaart says that he's not the biggest fan of the former Ajax coach. Van der Vaart has questioned Ten Hag's decision to bring in several Dutch players to Old Trafford. He believes that signing Dutch players with a link to Ten Hag will only increase the pressure on the manager if things do not go according to plan. But Van der Vaart isn't the only Dutchman to question Ten Hag. Dutch legend Ruud Gullit literally mocked the United boss on TV after Manchester United's disappointing draw against FC Twente. Speaking on Dutch TV after the full-time whistle, Gullit sarcastically said, "Yeah, but it's a process." Gullit was making fun of Ten Hag's usual alibi that the club is in a process after each disappointing result. Gullit added that he wasn't surprised with the quality he has seen from the club. From one Dutchman to another, legendary Netherlands forward Marco van Basten has criticized his spending habits, essentially saying there was little to show for the £600 million that Man United had splashed out on players since Ten Hag's arrival. Speaking to Ziggo Sport, Van Basten said, "It's idiotic how much Ten Hag has decided to invest in players who are not even good." Do you think Ten Hag deserves more time at the club? If not, who would you like to see as the next Man United manager?